There is something important you need to hear before you move on. Something most men go their entire lives without being told. You have been misreading the signals around you, not because you lack intelligence or observation skills, but because no one ever explained to you how women actually communicate attraction. That single blind spot has quietly cost you more than you have probably realized. Think about your own history honestly for a moment. Have you ever walked into a room and felt completely unseen? Have you ever replayed a conversation afterward, trying to figure out whether something was there or whether you imagined the whole thing? Have you ever caught yourself quietly concluding that you are simply not the kind of man women notice? If any of that lands, I want you to take a breath because what we are going to explore might reframe years of your life. The men who doubt themselves most persistently are very often the men women are most drawn to, not because of ego, but because of a deeper presence. You see, women and men do not experience attraction the same way. For men, attraction tends to arrive as a forward impulse. You notice someone, and something inside you moves toward her. It's fairly direct. But for women, attraction begins as awareness. Her first question is not about the other person, it is about whether that person notices her. She tunes into your energy before she makes any decision about how to respond. She observes, she positions herself, and she sends signals. She does not announce her interest, she signals it. If you have spent years waiting for a woman to pursue you openly or make her attraction unmistakable, you have been waiting for something that was never how this was designed to work. Instead, look for the quiet language of the body, starting with eye contact. Imagine you are somewhere ordinary, a coffee shop or a gym. You glance up and your eyes meet hers. Instead of the immediate look away that happens between strangers, she holds it just a fraction of a second longer than the situation requires. There is a small, suspended moment, and then she looks away. Most men register this as nothing, but that extra second carries enormous weight. Research shows that sustained eye contact activates emotional arousal and signals that you have genuinely been registered. We don't invest that energy in people who fail to interest us. And if you pay attention, you'll notice she looks back. That second glance is not accidental, it is confirmation. The first look is curiosity, but the second look is quiet courage. She is asking, without words, whether you noticed her. Then there is the concept of proximity. Men who carry genuine presence create a kind of gravitational pull without doing anything deliberate to produce it. You might notice women gravitating toward the space where you are standing or choosing the seat beside you when other options are clearly available. This is not coincidence, it is positioning. Women rarely pursue directly, but they consistently manufacture opportunity. Physical closeness builds positive association over time, something researchers call the mere exposure effect. When a woman places herself inside your immediate space, she is increasing the chances that something between you will develop. Consider the story of a man in his early 60s who had begun feeling entirely overlooked at a place he visited regularly. He noticed the same woman had seated herself beside him on 3 separate occasions, but he chalked it up to random seating choices. It wasn't random. The moment he shifted out of self doubt and into genuine awareness, everything around him began to look different. He started engaging with quiet confidence instead of retreating into invisibility. You may also notice that people become more attentive when you speak. Have you seen side conversations settle when you start talking, or people physically orienting their bodies toward you? That is presence operating. This is known as the halo effect. When someone is perceived as carrying genuine value, those around them unconsciously extend their attention. This effect actually deepens with age. While youth announces itself loudly, maturity resonates quietly. You don't need to own a room, you need to be anchored in it. Try slowing your speech slightly, dropping your tone, and pausing before responding. Silence often amplifies attention rather than creating awkwardness. If you've experienced that quality of quiet authority where attention gathers around you, you already carry magnetism. Deeply connected to this is the phenomenon of mirroring. This is a subtle, unconscious reflection of your behavior. You lean back and she leans back. Your speaking pace slows and hers follows. This isn't imitation, it's nervous system alignment. When we feel safe and attracted to someone, our bodies move towards synchrony. It is biological rapport expressing itself. When a woman matches your gestures, her nervous system is communicating that she feels safe. And safety is what comes before desire, especially for women. Pay attention to the compliments you receive as well. If a woman says, "You look good," that's a surface level assessment. But if she says she likes your energy or that she feels oddly comfortable around you, she is describing your presence. She is telling you that her nervous system is relaxing in your company. There was a widower in his late 50s, a quiet and unassuming man who was constantly told by women how easy he was to talk to. He assumed they were just being kind, but they weren't. Because he listened without trying to impress and didn't rush to fill silence, his calm created a rare emotional safety. He thought of himself as ordinary, but they experienced him as grounding. You should also look for repeated glances from across a space, quick assessments that happen when you enter a room. The human brain is wired to scan for value, and we instinctively notice individuals who stand out through composure and energy. Many men miss this because they are waiting for a spotlight, but attraction shows up in tracking behavior. The way someone's attention keeps returning to you even when they are pretending otherwise. Try putting your phone away the next time you're in public. Keep your shoulders relaxed and your head level, and just observe how often awareness meets awareness. Interestingly, how other men behave around you is another major signal. Women observe male social dynamics carefully because men are biologically wired to assess status. If other men treat you with genuine respect, not cutting you off, seeking your perspective, and deferring to you in small ways, it sends a signal of value that you can't manufacture with charm alone. Even competition is a sign. If men try to one up you or dominate the space when a woman enters, they perceive you as a threat worth competing against. True confidence doesn't escalate under pressure, it stabilizes. Finally, notice if women make assumptions about your options, asking things like, "How are you still single?" This surfaces when you carry abundance energy. Desperation has a recognizable psychological signature: over explaining, chasing validation, and seeking constant reassurance. Abundance, however, is calm and patient. It doesn't rush or cling. Even if you don't have multiple options right now, if you move through the world making deliberate choices rather than being grateful for whatever crumbs are offered, your perceived value rises. If you recognize these signs, the obstacle isn't your appearance, it's ownership. Most men evaluate themselves through explicit results, but feminine attraction is more like a subtle, responsive current. There was a man named Daniel, 64 years old and long divorced, who was convinced he was just background noise. But when he looked closer, he saw women at the gym choosing equipment near his and a barista who leaned in when she spoke to him. He had dismissed all of it because he didn't feel attractive internally, so his mind filtered out every signal that contradicted that belief. This is confirmation bias. The brain discards what challenges your existing self image. To change this, you have to update your self concept. Start an evidence journal where you write down one positive interaction every day: a smile, a lingering glance, or a warm exchange. Over time, you build a quote, counter evidence file that shifts your internal identity. Practice nervous system regulation by taking slow, deliberate breaths before you enter a social space to move out of a defensive state and into one of openness. And reclaim your past evidence by remembering times when women were interested. Usually, those were moments when you were relaxed and not trying to manage how you were coming across. The final, most powerful shift happens when you stop asking whether you are attractive enough and start asking whether a woman actually aligns with what you are looking for. When you evaluate rather than seek approval, the grasping and urgency dissolve. That grounded, unhurried curiosity creates a space that feminine energy naturally moves toward. Selectivity is attractive. Imagine walking into a room tomorrow, unhurried and steady, leaving conversations when they've run their course rather than clinging to them. From across the room, someone will notice that absence of need. They will see that you aren't chasing anything, and they will begin to position themselves closer. Attraction is not something you pursue, it is something you become. Stop wondering where you stand. Stand with clarity, and the right person will feel it.